Woodrow Wilson Academy. Welcome to the next week of This Week in Music. So this week we have 3 great birthdays to celebrate. Are you ready? Okay, so our first birthday we're celebrating was on January 19th in 1946. We're celebrating the birthday of Miss Dolly Parton. She is an American country singer and songwriter. She was also an actress, and more recently she's done a lot of humanitarian work, which means she's been doing work to help the people that she sees that need help, which is a great thing to do. She has over 25 #1 Billboard hit songs, and she's written over 3,000 songs in her lifetime. So she came from a family with 12 children, and they were extremely poor when she was growing up, and she started out singing in her church when she was really, really young, like 8 or 9 years old. So since she's become an amazing musician and she's made a lot of money for all of her work, she spent a lot of time helping children with literacy, which means she spent a lot of her time and money lately, now that she's older. Instead of performing, she's spending a lot more time donating books and helping schools and helping programs to get children to read. That's one thing that's really important to her. Other thing that she's done recently is she donated $1 million of her $1 million of her own money to help develop COVID vaccines. So we really think that she's not only great for her musical talents and all of her musical contributions, but also for her humanitarian contributions and caring for the people around her. So if you look down in the notes below, I've got a link for you to watch her singing a song that she wrote called Jolene, but she's singing it with pentatonics. And so it's a really, really neat conglomeration of her and pentatonics singing one of her more famous songs together. Our next birthday was in January 23rd, 1752. It's a piano player and composer from Italy named Muzio Clementi. It's a really fun name to say, Clementi. So he actually used to play piano along with Mozart. He's definitely not as well known as Mozart. He was very, very technical, which means that his music was very precise and very organized. And he and Mozart were good friends, but Mozart thought that he didn't play with enough heart. Mozart thought he should be more passionate, and Clementi was much more structured and technical. And as Mozart became more and more famous, Clementi started teaching more, and he actually developed a business to manufacture pianos. So he wasn't quite as passionate as his buddy Mozart, but he is well known for his music and for his manufacturing of pianos at the time. So a lot of his songs are still studied today, especially when piano students get to a certain level and they want to become very technically proficient. They want to be very good, organized, and structured musicians. And so we have a video in the notes of somebody playing his Sonatina #1 from Opus 36, which is also an important piece to me personally, because when I taught private piano lessons, when my students got to a certain level, they all had to learn this song because it helps them become very strong musicians. So I hope you enjoy watching that song get played on the piano. Now our third birthday is a really interesting story. So we're not 100% sure what day that this gentleman was born. He was either born on January 25th or January 22nd back in 1897. His name is Blind Willie Johnson, and he's a 20th century American blues street performer, and he was a street preacher. So the reason that this particular song that I have a video of down below in notes, you can click on it, it's called Dark Was the Night, Cold Was the Ground. This blues song is especially important because back in 1977, Carl Sagan and a bunch of other scientists decided that they were going to create something called a golden record, and they put it on the Voyager space probe and launched it into space. And on Voyager's golden record are 27 different songs that they thought best represented life, varied life all over the earth. And so they chose 27 pieces of music to be included on that record, along with a whole lot of other information about what happens in Earth. And their goal is that if someday intelligent life out in space ever encountered the Voyager space probe, that they would be able to learn something about our planet. So this poor blues musician named Blind Willie Johnson wrote a song called Dark Was the Night and Cold Was the Ground, and it was put on this golden record and launched into space. And so I always thought that that was pretty special and pretty interesting to think about, that this man who probably never thought that anything would become of his music his music has been launched out into space for somebody to find it possibly someday. So my trivia question, or my challenge for you this week, is to look up Voyager's golden record and see if you can find another piece of music that was included in that record that was launched out into space, just in case somebody, sometime, somewhere in the universe found our Voyager probe. So email me your answer at elinton@wwacademy.org or at my middle school account, and I will email you back. Thanks.